to preview today's big playoff matchup between the Cards and the Packers are our friends from FantasyFootballStarters.com, Jeff Corcini and Russ Bliss. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, folks. It's that time of year.
Man, he's in a good mood, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm in a great mood.
We'll get to my happiness in just a few minutes, but let's talk about the big matchup, because a lot of people, are saying that last week was a preview. Not so much. There wasn't a whole lot on the line, so today it's a whole different season, whole different game.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, and we're going to start with some injuries updates, because I think that's going to be critical to the game, huh, Russ?
Yeah, because last week in that game, of course, Anquan Boldin got injured. Anquan Boldin's got both the sprained MCL and the high ankle sprain. He's very questionable for today. He's going to be a game-time decision. I'll be very surprised if he plays any more than just in a limited fashion, if he's active at all. And then you've also got Calais Campbell with the thumb injury, but he is going to play. He's questionable on the injury report, but he's going to be okay. Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, of course, has got the knee injury, and he's questionable. So is safety Antrell Roll. He's questionable with a thigh injury. However, those guys are going to play today. They're good to go.
DRC, they practice. Antrell Roll practice during the week, and so did DRC. So they're going to suit up. This is a big game here.
It's a real big game. And
what about injuries for Green Bay?
Well, for Green Bay, the two that are important are Ryan Pickett, the nose tackle. He's got an injury. He's missed 3 of the last 4 games with a hip injury. Or a hamstring injury, and Charles Woodson, the cornerback, suffered that shoulder injury last week. However, he was able to practice. He's probable on the injury report. Both of these guys are going to play, and they're going to be key for that Green Bay defense this week.
And Charles Woodson is key to the whole team, because he is going to play against Larry Fitzgerald.
That's the way it's going to line up. And when you look at the offense versus the defense, right, especially right now with the Packers offense right now, we're predicting a 23-27 Packers victory. We've run these simulations 100 times. Hate to tell the fans, that's what our software predicts. But when you look at this matchup, especially with the Packers and their offense, I mean, Aaron Rodgers has thrown for over 444 yards. We're predicting him to probably throw for 250 yards, maybe even run in for a touchdown. He's had over like 5 rushing touchdowns this season. You got Ryan Grant, who was 7th in the NFL in rushing, Javier. So they are stacked against the offense. I mean, their offense is tight. And you look at the Cardinals' defense, it all starts with Darnell Dockett. That is going to be so critical to see. If they have to double team him, that's going to free up some other things to happen. So look at that run defense. They've got to play a tough game. It's going to be pass versus run. It's going to be a tough matchup on the offensive side.
You know, folks, before you drive this guy out of town, just so you know, he predicted the Eagles would beat the Cowboys. So we're
no, that's a tough
we're okay. Don't worry.
That's a tough one. I'm not going to hear the end of that.
What about some of the key matchups?
Well, on offense for the Arizona Cardinals versus the Packers defense, you've got the Packers with the #1 ranked run defense in the NFL. So Beanie Wells and Tim Hightower are going to have their work cut out for them. But they've got 15 rushing touchdowns combined. And one thing that I've noticed is that Beanie Wells on this season, when he's gotten 14 carries or more in a game, he's averaged over 4 yards per carry, and he's scored 7. All 7 of his rushing touchdowns this year have come in those games when they fed him the football. Don't be surprised if this is like last year when they started to ride Edgerrin James in the playoffs. They're going to ride Beanie Wells. I'll be very surprised if they don't give him the football at least 18 times and possibly over 20 this week.
And that's any good running back. You keep feeding him the ball, he's going to get that break. He's going to get a lot of yardage.
Yes. The Packers usually come out trying to pass to set up their running game. And I think to Russ's point, we're going to look at the Cardinals here. They may come out to set up the run, to set up their passing game as well, right? Because, I mean, if you look at what happened last week, we do not want to see that same trend. You saw the Jets. They beat the Bengals. Your Cowboys beat the Eagles. Those were previous matchups.
2 in a row.
Now we're going into this matchup. That's where we get the 23-27. I hope the Cardinals can do it, but from a prediction standpoint, that's a tough one.
Well, I took a different route. I took Arizona 31-27 over there.
Now he's saying it. Okay, now get on his good side. Okay, Russ,
switch chairs, boys. Switch chairs. What about the folks who still want to play fantasy football? Because they can still go to your website, and there's some things to do.
You bet. We actually have our free offer going between now and all through the off-season. Anybody that checks out this segment, Javier, all they have to do is go to FantasyFootballStarters.com, register only, email Jeff at FantasyFootballStarters.com. I'll upgrade them to our Power Player package. They can use our mock draft software, still get all our predictions, because we're going to be doing player and game predictions between now all the way through the Super Bowl. So that's available to any of the viewers.
All right. Any predictions? Any predictions beyond Cardinals, Packers?
Well, you've got the other game today. I've got the New England Patriots beating the Baltimore Ravens. So does our power game analyzer at Fantasy Football Starters. It actually went 2-0 yesterday. I had Cincinnati beating the New York Jets, but I was wrong on that one. Our game analyzer actually nailed that one.
So we'll see. I don't know. I'm going to do the same thing. I think New England's tight. I think they're going to do it. Now going further, Javier, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with those Cowboys.
And the winner of today's game goes on to take on the New Orleans Saints next week. Cowboys are taking on the Minnesota Vikings. So if the Cardinals win, all the rest of the potential home games are in domes, and that favors Kurt Warner.
That does.
Oh, yeah. He goes off in those domes. Huh?
Yes, 254 yards, and he'll throw for 2 touchdowns.
All right. We got to get past today. That's for sure. Thank you very much. Of course, all the information you need can be found on fantasyfootballstarters.com.